Let's try some more advanced trinomials. If we have a look at example 1 on this page, we've got 3x squared plus 15x plus 12. Now what is different is we haven't factorized with a coefficient other than 1 in front of x squared, and now we have a 3. First thing I want to do is make sure if I can take out a common factor or not. Now 3 will go into 3, 15 and 12, so I can take out 3 as a common factor. And I'm left with x squared plus 5x plus 4. And now it's a simple trinomial as on the previous page. We're looking for our factors of 4, which will be 4 and 1, and 2 and 2. And these numbers must add to give me 5. So I'm going to choose 4 and 1. So I still keep my 3 outside the bracket, and my brackets will be x and 4, x and 1. Now both signs in the trinomial are positive, so both signs in the bracket will be positive. Let's look at example 2. Again, my coefficient in front of x squared is not 1. Can I take out 2 as a common factor? This time I can't. So now we have to look at a slightly different method. If I cannot take out a common factor, I'm going to need to look for my factors of 3, which are 3 and 1. And I need to look for my factors of 2, which will be 2 and 1. Now you're going to place them in a small table. And the method that we have to do is we now have to cross multiply. So 2 times 3 is 6, and 1 times 1 is 1. And because the sign is positive, I want to see, can I add my numbers to end up with positive 7? And 1 plus 6 is 7. So I'm lucky I've chosen the right combination of numbers. If I didn't get a plus 7, the first thing I would do is switch one of the sets of numbers around. So I could still start with 2 and 1 in the table, but then I might switch 1 and 3 and make it 3 and 1 and see if that combination doesn't work better. Once you've got your combination that works, you are going to put your brackets across. So I'm going to group 2 and 1 together in a bracket and 1 and 3 together in a bracket. In other words, my brackets will be 2x plus 1 and x plus 3. Let's try a few more. (2x squared minus 5x plus 3). Again, I cannot take out 2 as a common factor, so we'll need our factors of 3, which are 3 and 1, or 1 and 3. And our factors of 2, which will be 2 and 1. Now, should I put the 2 on top or the 1 on top? Well, in the previous example, I ended up with 7 in the middle. And that's when I had 2 on top, 1 underneath, and 1 on top and 3 underneath. Now we're going to switch them. So we're going to make it 2 and 1 on top and 3 and 1 on top. So I can't have them in the same order as the previous question, because now I want to end up with 5 and not 7. If we cross multiply, 2 times 1 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3. And because of the plus, I want to add them to end up with 5. And 3 plus 2 is 5, so I've chosen the correct order of numbers. Now the only difference is I have a minus in front of the 5x, but we know from experience that if my last sign is positive, the signs will be the same, and they will both carry the same sign as that middle term. So when I bracket across. So I will have 2x minus 3 and x minus 1. In example 4, again, I want my factors of 6. Now this time I've got more than one option. I've got 6 and 1 and 3 and 2. Then I need to choose which combination I'm going to use. Now you have to play, you might have to do a little bit of trial and error, try one combination and then try the other combination. What I have noticed is that the smaller the number, if the number in the middle is quite small, you tend to use the numbers that are closest together. So 3 and 2 are closest together. So I'm going to try that combination first. It might not work. Then I need my factors of 3, which are 3 and 1. Oh, thank goodness I only have one set of factors there. And again, from experience, you will never put two numbers that are the same next to each other. So automatically I'm going to write 3 on top and 1 underneath. You cannot have two numbers that are the same next to each other. So cross multiply. 3 times 3 is 9, and 1 times 2 is 2. And this time, because of the negative, I need to subtract the numbers to end with 7. So will I go 2 minus 9 or 9 minus 2? Which one will give me positive 7? 9 minus 2 will give me positive 7. And this is quite important. That minus has ended up on the top row, which means it must stay on the top row. So when I form my brackets, my first bracket will be 3x minus 2, and my second bracket will be x plus 3. Remember, if your final sign is negative in the trinomial, the signs will be different. And this time, it doesn't automatically go to the bigger number. You actually have to work it out. So your cross multiplication is very important. We will try a few more examples on the next page, but pause now so that you can write down some notes. Let's try a few more of these. Right, we're looking for the factors of 8 and the factors of 3. So my factors of 8 are 8 and 1 and 4 and 2. Now which combination do I choose? Well, the bigger, if the number in between the two factors, if the middle term is quite a big number, my first choice, but it might not always work, but my first choice would be the numbers that are further apart. So 8 and 1 are further apart from each other. And then my factors of 3 are 3 and 1. Alright, now again, why do I choose 3 on top, 1 underneath? It comes with experience, but you want to end up with 23 in the middle. And 8 times 3 is 24, so it's very close to the middle term, so I want to be able to multiply those two. But if you don't get it right the first time, you'll just switch the numbers around and you'll eventually find the right combination. So 3 times 8 is 24, and 1 times 1 is 1. Now because of that negative, I want to subtract the numbers to end up with 23. Now I want to end up with positive 23. So will I go 24 minus 1 or 1 minus 24? Well, I go 24 minus 1. And it's important where I place that minus because that minus needs to stay in the row that it's in. So it's going to stay on the top, which means my brackets will be 3x minus 1 and x plus 8. Remember, when you put your brackets, you bracket with the set across. So the numbers that you placed on the same line go in the same bracket. Alright, let's try another one. We've got 4x squared plus 21x plus 5. So I'm looking for my factors of 5. Thank goodness there's only one set. It's going to be 5 and 1. And my factors of 4. My factors of 4 are either going to be 4 and 1 or 2 and 2. Now which combination do I choose? Again, like I said in the previous question, that middle number is 21. It's quite big. And if your number in the middle is quite big, start with a combination of numbers that are further apart from each other. And that would be the 4 and the 1. It might not work, but it's a good place to start. Now again, why do I put 4 on top and 1 underneath? Well, 4 times 5 is 20, and that's quite close to 21, so I want to be able to multiply those numbers, and that's why I put them in a position that I'll get a very big answer. So 4 times 5 is 20, 1 times 1 is 1. And I need to, because of that positive sign, add numbers to get 21. So easier, so it will just be 4x plus 1 and x plus 5. Remember, when you're putting your brackets in, you put one line in a bracket. So it's going to be 4x plus 1 and x plus 5. Let's try one final example. 4x squared minus 8x minus 21. Now in this one, I need my factors of 21, and unfortunately there's several. So it's either going to be 21 and 1 or 7 and 3. Then I also need to see which one I should choose. Now I'm going to choose the 7 and 3 first because the number in the middle is quite small. The number is 8. So I'm going to try the numbers closest together first. Then for 4, I've got 4 and 1, or I've got 2 and 2. And again, because the number in the middle is quite small, I'm going to choose the numbers that lie closer together, which is 2 and 2. But you will play around with this. You'll have to sometimes try different combinations before you find the right one. And now we try cross multiply, and hopefully I've chosen the correct combination. 2 times 3 is 6, and 2 times 7 is 14. And now I need to end up with negative 8. And because of that minus, I have to subtract those two to get 8. Now if I go 14 minus 6, will I end up with negative 8? Or 6 minus 14? Well, 6 minus 14 will give me negative 8. And again, that negative has landed on the top, so it must stay on the top line to give me negative 8. When you put your brackets, you keep one line in a bracket. So it will be 2x minus 7 and 2x plus 3. These are not easy, but you're just going to have to try some on your own and practice them, and eventually it will come right. Thanks for watching Max Maths. If you liked what you saw, please like, share and subscribe.